everybody, it's me, Finn. Yep, I'm just going to play some Minecraft. Hopefully finding some diamond before Cow does. Oh. Meow, 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 meow. Scumby! Scumby! Okay, everyone. Cow kind of took stuff. Okay, what matters? I was just checking. Oh, it's your garden. Oops, I did not understand. He said, well, we don't have to water our garden, so. Okay, that is odd because we don't have a garden. Oh! It's almost night. Okay. Oh. Yesterday, Cow kind of accidentally killed me because we were doing a practice fight. Glitching out. Supposed to be doing this, but so that is pretty fancy, especially because the door can be locked. But my house is better. Because I don't have to share rooms with Brooklyn. You would need a bed anyway. Wait. Like, I have a pet sheep. Yeah, it's pretty dumb. But I am the older one in real life and in Minecraft. Didn't get to do one day. Hi, bud. Hey, Fluffy. That weird villager is always around. No sand cow. Oh, wow. Since when did Cow have that much stuff? Oh, he probably got it from me. Mining. That's random. Darn. I'm gonna take my stone. Useful. better at digging. I mean, I want to go through it like that, but I haven't found stuff I can use it for. Oh snap, creeper. Yeah. Luckily that didn't have a lightning strike. Okay. Now I need some torches if I want to explore down there. Cow kind of went down there and is that his hole? Or is that? Yep, that's an iron hole. Ah, iron! Oh. Like this. This is how you go pro. With a bad use. Finally, I'm getting some experience. You kind of stole it. How do you get experience from him? Must have cleared it out yesterday. Cool. Just hitting the jackpot. Yeah. I found jackpot. Two levels higher than me. Minecraft, 2 months older than him. Exactly. Oh. dude. That is expensive. Whoa. Hey cow, I just got an emerald. In your face. Cool. Oh wow. This is the one cow fell into. Jeez, it's a jackpot though. Well, I'm not going down that way. But oh snap. Am I stuck? Oh, no. Sorry dude, but I think you're not gonna turn into a lens. In this video, I'm gonna probably be at a level 7. Wait, give me some experience. Well, nothing there now unless I'm gonna get to level 7. No! I am so gonna get to level 7. Some haste. Doing that, I am not doing that. Okay, I'm going. Bye. I'm going. I'm not one to wait. Oh. Yes. Oh. Okay. It needs 1,